I've worked on that for a number of years. And this tour that we're talking about today, Seville, Granada, and Classic Spain, we've done for way before I even started. So it's been a long-standing tour of Newmarket. It's one of our most popular tours, and we have lots and lots. Probably nearly 1,000 people will travel on it this year. So it's a very popular tour. Do you want me to go through the itinerary?
Yeah, just basically, you can touch on it, Dean. Absolutely, that'll be useful. I am recording the session just because our other 2 attendees are having problems signing in. So,
okay, no problem. So I'm sure you probably had a look. It is a kind of what we'd call it a classic hub and spoke tour. So they fly into Malaga, and then we transfer to Antequera, which is about 45-50 minutes, and then they stay there for 7 nights and go out on their included and optional tours from that one base. So the second day they have a day at leisure. We try to do that on a lot of our tours, so it's not kind of straight into the touring, and that's a really good time for you to do some of your maybe welcome meetings. We've got 3 hotels on there, so I should have said that at the start. We've got three hotels, one in the centre of Antequera called the Corso Viejo, one just outside called Antequera Hills, which is probably the most popular one, and then one kind of 10 minutes outside, which is the Parador de Antequera. So on the day at leisure, that's a good time for you to kind of go around, visit the hotels, make sure everybody sees you. You'll also have a chance on the transfer coach to do that as well, because usually all of the flights on the first day do arrive around about the same time. Some of the early ones might have a little bit of a wait. They might be waiting maybe up to an hour for the other flights to come in. But then generally speaking, we try and take everybody off on one transfer coach. That makes it much easier for yourself when you're kind of talking to people. It make sure you kind of see them all on the first day as well. So after the day at leisure, on the 3rd day, they have an included visit to Seville. On that tour, we do have a local guide as well. So you go with them. You go with them on all the tours, but we have local guides in most areas. And for Seville as well, we also have the whispers, the kind of earpieces. So the local guide will talk into those, and so everybody should be able to hear them okay. And we don't include any entrances in Seville, so it's just a local guide who'll take them around. And then they'll have free time, then taken back to the hotel. On the 4th day is another included tour. On that day, we take them to Cordoba. That's also with a local guide as well. I'm not sure if we have the earpieces in that. I don't think we do actually for some reason, but that one has a local guide. So again, you'd go with them on that. They'd have a guide, then some free time, then you'll take them back in the evening. And on the 5th day, this is an optional tour, so people can, they've had 2 included tours. So some people do take this day as a relaxing day. However, a lot of people book it as well. This time is to Ronda. So as this is just an optional tour to kind of keep the cost down a little bit, we don't have a local guide on this one. So what our tour managers have done before, they'll give them some explanation or some history or information about Ronda on the coach on the way there. And then I know what some of them do from the coach park. They'll walk them to the bull ring, not actually guiding because you're not allowed to guide. You're literally just walking them to the bull ring, which is a central area, and then they can go off and kind of explore on their own, and then meet back later, then take them back to the hotel. So it's similar to the other tours, except there's no local guide. And then on the 6th day, this is the highlight of everybody's tour. It's a trip to Granada and the Alhambra. Our tickets include the palace and the gardens, so they're the good tickets to go in. Of course, on this one they will have a local guide from the palace to take them around. They're all timed tickets. They can vary a little bit in the timings that we get, but we kind of go for late afternoon. And the reason for that is if we go too early, it means an early start from the hotel. And if we have kind of midday, it's a bit too hot for our British customers. So we kind of go a bit later. So that means when they get to Granada, they can have time to walk around, maybe have some lunch, and then they can have the tour of the palace when the sun's a bit cooler as well. So it's not too hot for them at that time of day. And then on the 7th day, so this is our penultimate day before we go home, it's another day at leisure. Or there is an optional wine tasting tour. And I'll be honest with you, most people take this one as a day at leisure. They don't do the wine tasting tour, but that tour we can operate on really low numbers. Even if there's just 2 people that book it, we organise a taxi and it takes them off to a local vineyard. I can't remember which one it is, but it's about half an hour away, and they can do the tasting. So most people say take that as another rest day. It's the last day of their rather busy holiday. Then on the final day, that's obviously their transfer back to the UK. And similar to the arrival, most flights depart around about the same time. So we try and just have one transfer on there, keep them all together. So it's a busy tour, but there are a couple of rest days. So it's good. Yes. Any questions on that before I talk about a couple of other bits to watch out for? No, that's okay. All right. So just wanted to let you know. Last year we had a couple of reoccurring complaints or issues. One of them was, this is just so that you know, we didn't include a guide in Seville. That's kind of a historical reason. We just didn't do it from many years ago, but we got feedback that customers wanted a guide, so they now have a guide. But really, the main ones to watch out for are at the hotels. The Parador last year, we had a few issues with food because they were being treated as a group. Our customers had to say what they wanted for dinner 2 nights in advance. And the service was a bit slow and it wasn't as good as it should be. And so we got complaints about that. So what we've done for this year, we've put a bit more money into it, and they're now on the a la carte menu at the Parador, which is basically the same as private guests have. So they can choose from the a la carte menu. The food is included. Obviously, if they want drinks, they still pay for drinks, but which is the same as it was before. But the food is included. And one more thing to watch out for. This is something new that Matt mentioned to me last week, which is just started to come to light. We haven't had this issue before, so I need to investigate what's happening. But at the Antequera Hills, we basically sell half board. So it's based on bed and breakfast, and then we sell half board in advance. And what we've discovered is there's quite a big difference between what we sell it to our customers at and what the hotel is selling it locally at. But we've had the same setup for years, and we haven't had this complaint before. So it makes me think something has changed, and we're still, marking it up the same. So it makes me think something has changed at the hotel. Actually, Razia mentioned that to me at the weekend as well. So it's something I'm going to investigate now.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get it resolved by the time you go on a tour. But just to watch out for it. If there's any issues about the cost of the half board at the Antequera Hills, let us know.
Yeah, brilliant, excellent. Matt, is there anything else that you want to add, or Giovanni, any questions on any parts of the tour? Now is your time, basically.
Oh, no, not really. So everything has been well explained by Dean, and I also have been reading quite a lot about the itinerary here on the website, and I'm really familiar already now with the itinerary. Well, there was just one question I was thinking about. It was about the local guides, because they don't say the itinerary, they have local guides, but they explain now that we're going to have local guys in Seville and Granada and Cordoba as well.
Except Ronda.
Yeah, and just to add to that, when Danielle, who's on annual leave at the moment, she's our product executive for this particular tour, but when she sends you through all her operational documents, including the tour manager guide notes, it's very clear on there the days that you all have a step-on guide and not have a step-on guide. Normally that comes out to you about 21 days before departure. Obviously, subject to no changes happening prior to that, that's the general benchmark. If there's changes that we're expecting, there may be a slight delay in that. So, but she will send you across everything. She's quite thorough with her paperwork.
Okay, that's fine.
Matt, anything from your side?
Not particularly. So, Gio, this is the first Seville tour for us you'll be doing, isn't it? When it's coming up now.
Yes, with the Newmarket, yes.
Yeah, perfect. And you're very familiar with all the areas on our tour.
Yes.
That's fantastic. The reason I mentioned that is purely because Seville is one of our focus areas this year, purely because there were some not so positive feedback last year, but as Dean has mentioned, some huge changes this year to improve the tour. So we really believe it will be a great success this year, but it's really, really key that we have the very best tour managers on this tour, amongst others that we're focusing on. So it's really just to reiterate that this level of service should be at the highest possible level. So I think that's really important to remember, that day one being the travelling out to resort, day two being the first day, but a leisure day, I would really recommend and ask that was the day you spent as much quality time with the customers as possible. So not only the welcome meeting, but spending time in the different hotels with the people, chatting about the itinerary, any do's and don'ts, any kind of real top tips, and really kind of trying to personalize your service to them so they're fully aware. Because as Dean says, we've had lots of feedback about it being a wonderful tour, but quite a long days, quite intensive. So, preparing people really for the fact that it's going to be wonderful. You're going to really enjoy yourselves, but be prepared for example, it's a long day on day 3 or whatever it may be as per the itinerary. So really spending some quality time with the customers on that day 2, that's the real key. If you start that arrival experience and day 2 on a real high, and spending lots of quality time with the customers, the other days will follow. They'll just naturally follow. People would have already bought into your ability as a tour manager by spending that quality time.
Could I just add about the arrival and departure cards? Could you just mention a little bit about that as well, Matt?
Yeah, that was coming next. So the arrival cards, I don't know if you've received them yet, have you, Gio?
No, I haven't received. I was just checking the departures time you have on the gates from the different cities. The people are arriving. So from my point, so I should be departing from Gatwick Airport because it's my nearest airport.
Yeah.
I think it's 15 minutes past 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Departing, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So what Raz was alluding to then is that I don't know did you attend our previous tour managers briefing, the town hall, at the end of February? Were you there by any chance?
No. Oh yeah, yes,
Okay.
I was there. I was at the meeting. Yes, I was at the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, we're doing another one tomorrow actually. I don't know if you've seen that invitation.
Yeah, I have received invitations as well.
Yeah, Gio is attending that one as well.
Yeah, I'm attending that as well.
Fantastic. So it will be clearer when we go through it on that one, and we'd mentioned it in our previous one, our newsletters as well. But this year we'll be having in certain areas arrival cards and departure cards. So the size of a postcard is another tool to use for tour managers to give to our customers. So you will receive that pack of those prior to your first departure, your first tour with us, but in simple terms, it's a simple welcome to Seville card where you fill in the details of the customer, the hotel, and it also gives you a chance to put most importantly your contact number and your name, but also the next time you're going to be seeing them after the arrival day. So when they land into Malaga, you're greeting them, you're giving them these cards, and it will say tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is your welcome meeting, for example. But most importantly, really, is the contact details that you'll put on there as well, because our customers really like to have that sense of security, especially if maybe they're going off on a taxi transfer, or you're not able to greet every single person to know who they can contact in resort. And we really need to be available on hand as much as we possibly can. If they know they've got that sense of security of knowing you're around constantly and they can contact you, they will feel so much safer and so much more secure that that they know who they can contact as and when. And then towards the end of the tour, we'll have the departure card as well, which you'll need to give out, which will give all their flight details and their pickup time. I'm really thrilled to hear Dean mentioned that normally on the departure day everyone's on one coach together, so that's kind of your ideal scenario, because so many tours we don't have that situation where we have little minibuses or taxis and one big bus, but having everybody on one coach, that really should mean that we can get the best possible feedback from customers because you're kind of with them all the time. So that is brilliant. But even still, we continue with the departure cards, which are individual, again with people's individual flight details, and the pickup time, even if it's the same for everybody, and again your contact details, because believe it or not, people do start wishing away their holiday halfway through and wanting to know what time they're getting picked up, because they worry about getting home and getting to the airport or getting their flight. I wish they wouldn't, but they do. So it's important that we also give that out, a good couple of days, 48 hours before the departure, so they can just forget about it then. They know what time they're getting picked up on the last day and it's all done, and they can enjoy the rest of their holiday. So you will receive that material. As I say, they're postcard size, and they're really handy for adding the extra service level. So you'll get those way before your first tour.
Okay.
Anything else,
So,
Gio? Sorry,
So,
Matt.
and
Go.
may I ask you what time is the tour manager day start service, and what time do we end with the customers?
Sorry,
Matt?
could you say that again?
So, what time is the tour manager job starting in the day, and what time is finished? So, I mean, yeah.
On a daily basis, you mean, or
Yeah,
throughout the tour?
yeah.
Yeah. So depending on what's happening that day. So it's very, very specific to the itinerary. So day one is actually the day that obviously customers fly out. So you start as soon as your first customers arrive, effectively. Yeah. Day two, it's the day of leisure for the customers, but that is the day that you should be doing welcome meetings. If not, day one, if they arrive in time and there's time to do a welcome meeting in that afternoon, I haven't personally looked at the flight arrival times, but if there was time, you could do it on day one, but bearing in mind that you want to follow that up then on day two by visiting the hotels, discussing the itinerary, asking people if they need anything, giving recommendations for their free time that day. But it's all specific to the itinerary. So if day three is an included tour, and the pickup time is 8 o'clock in the morning, then you would need to be there obviously well before that pickup time in order to make sure that you're greeting customers in the lobby, having a chat to people. Are you all set? Are you all ready? Don't forget whatever it may be that are needed for that particular day. So really, really specific to the itinerary. So I wouldn't be able to give you a start time and end time. You will find that with our tours, obviously it's quite intensive and we expect people to be available, a lot of the day. And if customers do have any issues, even in the evening, then we would expect you to sort of answer your phone, and depending on the situation. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that if there are any problems that are perhaps more serious, then we also have our 7 days a week, 24 hours customer operations department. I don't know if you've seen that on our newsletters or heard it in our town halls, but we're presenting that again tomorrow. Sorry.
I just had a very quick question for Gio, just out of interest. Is there a reason for wondering what time your duties start? Is that your experience with other tour operators? Because
not really. So I have no problems getting early, late.
Okay.
I just want to know, to know exactly what
Sure.
is.
Because from
no problems. And
yeah,
I'm an early bird person.
Okay, from our side, and I couldn't reiterate Matt's comments about that, you really do need to be available, visible and seen and heard at all times. So from from our contractual point of view, the tour manager is literally available, can be sometimes 24/7. It's just the way and the nature of the job. I think because you've worked with other companies before, I would probably have expected you to have had similar sort of a setup, but obviously things like meeting them for breakfast and having that general chit chat conversation, it's all part of their experience. Okay, so yeah, we need to make sure you are fully with them and available. Obviously at times when they're guiding and you want to sit down and you want to have a cup of coffee or a break, or judge that by your itinerary, like Matt said. That's all I had to add on that. If there isn't any more questions, Dean, have you got anything that you wanted to check before we log off?
No, I don't know. As long as you're happy, Giovanni, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine as well. Everything is being
Matt, anything else from your
side?
No,
that's great. That's brilliant. I think it's fantastic for Gio to get insight from Dean. So thank you very much, Dean, for presenting that.
No, that's okay.
Gio,
mostly you'll hear from my colleague Dan, who's on a leave this week, but she's all kind of day-to-day ops person. Sure. I work closely with her.
But in actual fact, the brain behind the tour is Dean's work. So yeah, so it's good that you get to meet. It's good to get to meet them as well. But Gio, we're going to see you at the town hall tomorrow. Otherwise, so yeah. Thank you very much for joining today. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Lovely to see you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
It seems right.
He speaks